You're back. It's September 5th. It's a new month. I'm Rudy Maxa. I'm a travel journalist and broadcaster. On the other side of the page here is Tommy Danielsen, an expert on all things involving hotels, airlines, rental cars, frequent flyer points, women, wines, everything.
Women and wine. I think the women part is yours.
And if you're seeing this for the first time,
actually, I get that depends on.
You have a great wife. You must be an expert on women. So I know her. If you're just joining us for the first time, what we do is every once in a while we record this and do it live and talk about what's hot in the travel news business these days. Sorry about the reflection in my glasses. I'll try to get rid of it. And we've got a few items today. I wanted to start with Tommy, how generous the month of September is for. Oh, you want to start with that?
No, I don't want to start with that one because I got to read the whole thing. But
okay,
I have a credit card.
I want to talk about the credit card bonuses, courtesy of the Points guy here. For example, American Express is giving you a 30% transfer bonus. In other words, you transfer 1,000 miles, you get 1,300 miles to Avios points, which is good on British Airways and Iberia, the Spanish airline, and Aer Lingus, the Irish airline. It's a pretty good exchange rate. You can also transfer your Avios to Finnair or Qatar Airlines Airways Privilege Club, and American Airlines lounges and Hilton points. 30% bonus on Amex membership points for that as well. Let's see what else we got. We got a lot. I mean, there's a lot this month. Chase Ultimate Awards transfer bonus.
Yeah, so Hilton Honors gets 30% also. So
okay, well, thanks. Okay,
1 to 2.6 instead of 1 to 2.
Okay. Well, you can.
Amex, and here we go. Here's Chase Ultimate Rewards.
Yeah, Chase Ultimate Awards. These aren't so much.
They don't have anything. There's nothing. But from Capital One, there's Air France KLM Flying Blue.
That's a good one, Flying Blue. That's good. If you got Capital One points, that's a good one.
Yeah,
because if you fly Delta a lot, don't book your award tickets on Delta. Book it on Flying Blue and put all your miles on Flying Blue.
Absolutely, and then City is not. So it's not really that much this week. So it's British Airways or IAG, which is all the companies that so Aer Lingus, Iberia, or British Airways. And Finnair also as a part, and Qatar also as a part of it. So it's obvious pretty much that you can transfer to from American Express. Hilton Honors gives you 30%, and then also Air France Flying Blue or Air France KLM Flying Blue is 20% from Capital One.
20% or 30%?
20.
Is it? No, shoot.
The 30% was American Express. Okay, here we go. Here's the New Zealand triples the tourism fee. What's
that? That piece of art. Yeah, it's about $84 Canadian, but they've
so
that's
what is that, like $10?
No, I'll tell you exactly. Let me look at my phone here. Let me find out exactly how much it is. But you now have to pay this to go visit New Zealand.
Yeah, there was a visitor fee, and it used to be when you bought for the visa. There was like you paid 35 New Zealand dollars. It's about $15, I think it is, or like.
They've raised. So how much was it? 84 Canadian dollars. That is in U.S. dollars. That is $62.
So that's what they're going to be charging now. So it goes up from like $20 to 64. Wow, that's a big jump.
That is a big jump. Begins October 1st. So if you want to go. You want to go to New Zealand less expensively, go now.
Right. You think this will have any impact?
Well, it's a pretty big jump. I don't think so. I mean, people want to go to New Zealand, they go to New Zealand. What's an extra $40? But it doesn't help. I mean, it doesn't help the budget for anybody traveling a family of 4. I mean, 40 times 4 is, whatever it is.
Yeah, that's a hotel night.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, these countries charging, I mean, I think we're going to see more and more of these countries charging fees. Venice tried that thing for a month. I think it was charging about $5 to get in the country, and then they tried it and said it wasn't a success. But I think towns like Venice and Barcelona and Dubrovnik are all going to be doing this because of how crowded tourism is. And the locals are the natives are upset. They're restless. They don't like all these visitors in their cities.
So how many people live in Venice now? Isn't it like only a handful of people versus how big
you mean residents?
Yeah.
Oh, not many at all. But a lot of people own homes there and they rent them out, The Venice population right now is in 2017. Why am I telling me 2017? That's ridiculous. Let's see. This is more current here, I think. Oh, come on.
Over here.
Well, they're saying 261,000 in 2017, but that's way too many. Don't you think?
2024, let's see how it is. 642,000 in the metro area. And on the islands themselves, it's been declining. It's dropped from a peak of 175,000 to about 50,000 now lives on the islands, because Venice Metro is on the mainland. When you go across that long bridge where you drive or you take the train.
They were including that, or are you just including the island? Is that just the island that you quoted?
642 is the Venice Metro area.
Oh.
But the Venice syndrome is the population has dropped from peak of 175,000 on the islands to around 50,000. So it's a small town all of a sudden.
Yeah, and if you go there, even in the summer, I was going to say in the winter, but even in the summer, you'll see so many dark buildings. I mean, they're people own places there, but they're just not there.
Yeah, no kidding. You don't go in the summer when it's like.
No, the summer. So don't go to Venice in July and August. It's fragrant and it's really hot and crowded.
Right. All right. Yeah. We've got the Air Canada strike going on. What's this all about?
Well, the FAA of Canada is begging Air Canada the labor dispute with its pilots to not result in a September 18th strike, which they're threatening to do. And so far, as far as I know,
because there's been a lot of reports. We talked about this the last time we had a series. So I was on the road last week, but before I left, so the week before last, or was it 2 weeks ago? We had the last stream. We're looking at pilots being laid off and furloughed and stuff, and that's the direction we're going now. And we're going to talk a little bit about that too. I think that this is a good opportunity to do it because it's one of the headlines today. Is like prices to fly. Airfares right now has plummeted. It's in free fall to fly places now. So many deals,
especially international.
Yeah. So it's from the West Coast to Europe in coach is about $400 to $500 round trip right now.
That's crazy.
And
it used to be a good fare from New York to Paris.
Yeah. So you can New York which is probably going to be $200 to $300 round trip when you're looking at because North Atlantic is there, and French Bee is there, and Condor and those type of low cost carriers that are that are there as well are adjusting that. So they're
I was paying $450 to fly. I booked it 3 to 4 weeks ago to fly nonstop Delta Minneapolis to Los Angeles. Nearly $500. Ridiculous. One way.
I was looking to book a colleague to go to our conference in LA for February, and he lives in DC. On nonstop on United round trip was less than $200.
Where does he live?
In Washington DC, flying out of
Dulles. Round trip?
Round trip under $200. Just shy of $200. So prices are definitely coming down.
Yes, they are.
And it has to do with demand, of course. But it's going away, especially over the winter. I mean, it has the big demand that we saw, and the airlines have painted these pilot crisis here. Is that the airlines have painted themselves in a corner. We don't want to go through that conversation again because we did it last time we spoke together. But right now, the airlines can afford to pay the salaries that they're paying their pilots. So this is gonna blow up fairly shortly. So we'll keep an eye on that. All right.
You know something about an American Airlines exec, don't you? Oh no, okay. I'm sorry. You're going to do the Airbus deal. Well, that's him.
Yeah, that is him. That is, well, he got shit canned, pardon my French here. Vasu Raja was an executive at American Airlines. He was the chief commercial officer. And I've never met the guy. I feel like I'm on top of the industry, but he's not really in the area that I'm in. So I do loyalty. So I have not. There was an order, an Airbus order for the Airbus A350. And it was leaked yesterday, and it's actually our friend, our common friend Brian Summers, who writes a really good newsletter, and that the story was leaked about another crazy thing that Vasu did. And this is not why he got fired. He got fired because he had a terrible strategy on how he was forcing businesses to buy directly from American rather than to go through not travel agents, but corporate agreements. He fired the entire team of corporate salespeople and wanted to only sell direct. And that blew up in his face. So that's why he was fired and lost. The shareholders there's a class action. Actually, I have it over here. This is another story that there's a class action that accuses American Airlines of lying to investors or his failed attempt to make corporate customers book direct. So this is all his legacy. This is like Frank Lorenzo plus. But I thought that was interesting. So when he was the then VP, he abruptly told Airbus senior management that the airline did not want to take any Airbus 350s. An Airbus, the hottest airplane that Airbus has right now. Airbus executives were shocked. My source told me that because the Americans deal, which it inherited from longtime Airbus customer U.S. Airways, they merged back in 2011. It meant that the airline could take these airplanes at an insanely cheap price. How could American not want these planes? They could just resell them if they didn't want it in their fleet because of the demand and wait time. And Vasu, out of nowhere, deadpans and looks them in the eyes and says, you know what? Let me explain it to you this way. You are selling a great lawnmower. Actually, you're giving it away for free. Here's the problem. I live in a high-rise penthouse. Pretty crazy, huh?
Boy, this guy's got attitude.
Yeah, there's no way that I wonder where he's going to land, but it's terrible for American. He's lost the shareholders' value is it's dirt value right now. Like so, it's not shocking, but I thought it was interesting. All right, there was we're not going to make a big deal out of this one, but there was the airline, you go on board airplanes and you see that they're saying, hey, you got to check your bags because it's going to be really full on board a flight, right? And then you come on board a plane and the overhead bins are empty. And they made you check your carry-on because they wanted to preemptively make sure that there was room for everything. So this Kara Price, she was calling out Delta Airlines and saying that, hey, you forced people to check your bags, and there was tons of space available. What's your point on that? What's your view on that?
Well, usually, if the flight's full in America, a lot of people do carry on. In Europe and Asia, there often is bin space. But in America, if you're sitting in the waiting room to board and the airplane's full, I think the staff is legitimate in saying you might want to gate check your bags. But if they're gate checking, and you don't have to go downstairs, this post says, I hate to wait for checked bags I didn't intend to check. Well, usually the gate check bags are brought right up from the bottom of the plane to
not on big planes, no, only on the regional jets. No,
not on the big planes?
If it's a big plane, they will check it, and you have to pick it up at baggage.
No, but you don't have to pay for it, right?
No. They will give it to you for free.
Well, somebody just made a wrong guess, or there was an unusual flight of Americans who didn't have U.S. flyers that didn't have a lot of luggage. It's very unusual to find a shot like that, a lot of luggage space, don't you think, these days in America?
Normally,
Yeah.
So here's my in the U.S. and it's also in Europe now, because all of the big carriers also now in Europe, they charge for checked bags unless you're in the lead, same as here. And here's my strategy. If I have my big Rimowa suitcase with me, which is it's a maximum size that you can have, and some airlines even try to kind of crap on it and say that it's too big, but it doesn't happen that often. So I will be one of the first to board for sure. But on long haul flights, I'm always the last. So, but I thought that was interesting. All right.
Why explain that? Why are you the last to board on long haul flights?
Because there's always room. I'm going to be on a plane for 11 hours. I'm not going to sit there like a dumpski and waiting for 45 minutes for everybody to board. Why would I board first?
Oh, well, to get luggage space is why a lot of people board first.
Long haul in business class, there's always.
Well, in business class, that's not a problem. Okay. Okay, Richie.
I think on long haul flights also, there's no. You're not going to be made to check a bag on a long haul plane. That has never happened.
Okay.
All right, so this is kind of interesting. So, I saw this on the interweb.
What a headline.
Yeah. And so, Marriott is having all sorts of image problems, and been a couple of big stories this week. There's also the story about a GM at the Crystal City Courtyard. I mean, it's like a courtyard. Who wants an upgraded courtyard? It's like it's not really, but they are Marriott is more in the business of taking care of their franchisees than their customers. That's a long known fact. It's just the way it is. And Marriott is before Starwood, Marriott owned only, I think, 18 hotels total out of the portfolio. I mean, there are management companies that owns hundreds of hotels that are partially owned by the Marriott family, but Marriott itself owns very, very few hotels. And here's a GM who says like, hey, he openly admitted in this email. He said, a titanium member is what the level that I'm at, but the hotel generator, he laid out his philosophy. They have too many elites to upgrade, so they don't try to upgrade elites at all. And they work to maximize revenue instead. And that's the most fair approach to everyone. So meaning that, which is kind of the thing here is like it's like Gary says here, it's a really odd take, because usually the way that you do it, you prioritize ambassador members and titanium members first, and then the other ones are kind of doesn't really need to focus. And that means that you don't have, if you have 1/3 of this guy says that 1/3 of their guests who are checking in are elites, but you have silver elites, which is a ton of people. And all you need to do is to have United gold status to get silver with Marriott, and then you have gold members, which doesn't get very much. It's also just dirt. It doesn't promise any upgrades or anything like that. Platinum is kind of the go-to level, but it's a status that can be achieved by just signing up for a $650 a year credit card, which is totally not worth it. And then you have titanium, which requires 75 nights, and of course ambassador on top requires 100 nights and plus 23,000 a year. But I thought it was an interesting take. It's obviously against terms and condition, and so is this thing here. So Marriott has a guarantee, and there was platinum members who checked into the hotel in Chicago Marriott Schaumburg was what it was. You see here, you got a whole thing going on here in the picture, and try to check into the hotel, and the person who checked the person in and said like, never heard of the guarantee. And this is the first I've heard of it. And the guarantee is that if you are arriving at a hotel and you are a platinum elite or higher, and they don't have a room for you, saying that, sorry, we sold too many rooms today, there is a compensation. And the compensation is first of all, they need to book you a hotel elsewhere, and the night is free. You're supposed to be staying there.
I didn't know this. This is even if you have not reserved a room ahead of time?
If you have a reservation that is booked 48 hours before or earlier than that, they'll guarantee it has to be booked 48 hours before. So if you have a reservation for, say for example, for Monday, if you're traveling somewhere on Monday, and you have made this reservation and you show up on Monday as a platinum elite or higher, you have the guarantee.
They have to walk you.
If they walk you, they try not to walk elites. They try to hold the rooms the longest for elites, of course, because it's more expensive for them to walk in elites. So what you do is you book. They have to book a comparable accommodation for you, and the first thing, and that night is comped. They pay it for you. In addition to that, you are eligible. All elite members are eligible for $200. All elite members. So that means every tier is eligible for $200 plus 90,000 Marriott points. So that means that you get a free night for your inconvenience, and in addition to that, you get a $200 in cash and 90,000 points.
But what if you have no status and you've paid ahead for a reservation? They still have to walk you, don't they? They don't have to give you all the other stuff.
They have to provide you accommodation elsewhere.
Right.
Sure,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Huh. I didn't know about all the extras.
Yeah. So the elite members get the $200 extra plus 90,000 points.
Right.
Which
That's
you
interesting. I didn't
still
know
get a
that.
free night, and that this person didn't know about it, and it became heated, so they called the cops, which I thought was kind of interesting. But anyways, all right. So this is an interesting thing. So Swiss is coming out with the Lufthansa piece here. As you know, the Lufthansa group is putting in some new first class seats on their planes, and Swiss is one of them. And the seat is going to be one abreast, so it's 1, 1, 1. So it's like 3 seats abreast on the plane, which is crazy cool. And they are having some issues with it. The Swiss is having some issues with it because it's too heavy. The contraptions that they're putting in, they're causing balance problem on the airplane. I guess is it too light or they're too heavy? So they have to put on lead plates on the plane in order to be able to put in those 6 first class seats. Is that crazy or what?
Correct. The center of gravity. Oh my God.
Exactly. So the problem here is that that putting lead on an airplane, first of all, that's insane to begin with, right? In order to get the plane to be
so you can burn more fuel. Yeah.
Much more fuel, and in this day and age with and the environment and being cleaner and CO2 emissions and all that kind of stuff, it is kind of I thought it was kind of interesting.
Well, and it's sort of flying in the face of what's happening with U.S. airlines, which is no more first class. It's all going to be just business, right?
Yeah, we talked about that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
There's only American left, and they only have 13 planes that has first class on it, right?
Yeah, so it's almost over here. Wonder how many seats
over.
they're
It
going to
will
put in
be
there.
over by the mid of next year. It'll be gone forever. But it's not really first class like this, that what you're looking at here.
No.
So Swiss, they have Baltic salmon, the original Baltic salmon, and very few seats. They have fantastic lounges. They got fantastic champagne and high quality stuff that none of the U.S. carriers have ever had, right? Well, maybe back in the days when you were young, but not anymore. All right. Want to talk a little bit about France's oldest and second largest city is overlooked as an untouristy gem, per Rick Steves.
Oh gosh, what city is that?
Marseille.
No, Marseille. What do you mean it's overlooked? It's just no. It's
Is it
funky,
really,
isn't
though?
there?
Is it
Pretty
really
funky.
overlooked?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't think Americans flock there as their primary destination, but everybody knows it's there. What I think is interesting is
it's a little
I'm sorry?
industrial, don't you think?
Well, it is industrial, and then I think they've got some crime problems there.
Yeah.
That most
So
other
it's like the Naples of
the Naples of
It's
France.
not dangerous in it by any means. It's very easy
Right.
now to
Petty crime.
Yeah, there's no cash anymore, right? So nobody uses cash in Europe at all. I just came back from 2 weeks business trip to Europe and also a stop in Norway to visit my family, and I didn't pull out a credit card once on my whole trip.
You didn't pull out a credit card?
Nope, I used my
Oh, your phone.
wallet.
Oh, right.
Exclusively tap to pay on absolutely everything, including checking in at hotels.
Yeah, I mean, things like the Washington D.C. Metro, you only use your phone. I think what France has to worry about is that Spain is about to replace France as the most touristed country in the world, most popular tourist country in the world.
Interesting. Is that all Barcelona or?
Well, I think it's because of Barcelona and Madrid, but it's overall Spain.
Yeah. So you think you agree with Rick when he says that?
I don't. I mean, I'm not a crazy. I mean, I've been to Barcelona. I haven't spent. I will admit, I've never spent a night there. So I haven't walked around Barcelona. I've walked along the waterfront. I passed through it a lot, going from one side of the bottom of France to the other. But I don't know Barcelona.
Right.
Have you? Do you have an opinion on it?
I think Barcelona is the older you get, the
Wait,
less.
not Barcelona. No.
No, I mean Marseille.
Yeah,
Sorry,
right.
I'm following your lead here. No, Marseille to me is a little industrial. It's not appealing to me.
I agree.
I mean,
Okay.
I like non-touristy town, but it's still busy. It's just locals instead of tourists, which can be good
Well,
in
it's
many
Southwest,
ways.
that's good.
Yeah, so Southwest has their companion pass, buy one get one free promotion, which they did last year as well, which means that you just have to book one ticket. So how can you qualify? You have to be a Rapid Rewards member. You have to register. Members must book a flight between September 3rd and 5th. So today is the last day to do it, and you have to travel by November 20th. And when you've done that, you will get a companion pass status from January 6th until March 6th of next year. So that means that you can travel two people together and the second person is free.
Please ask Melinda to book my ticket the last day today so I can get that.
Yeah, no kidding. Actually, since Southwest is our sponsor, you won't get any credit for that, but that's okay.
Oh,
I don't see you on there anyway. So
no, I don't
all
fly.
right. So I found this was kind of interesting when it comes to food etiquette around the globe. And there is this map. Actually, I figured I wasn't going to do this because I couldn't get that thing to come up. And there's a global analysis on it. Just Google mental floss and then World Food and Drink Etiquette Map. It is kind of small, so people aren't going to be able to see it. So I think we're going to skip that one. New routes. There are some new routes, but it's actually just a lot of junk here, to be honest with you. So you've got, it's nothing exciting, to be honest with you. You have, American is going to be flying from LA to oh my goodness, from LA nonstop on their fanciest plane, 102-seater Airbus 321 with first and business class in it. They're going to fly to the Toronto Film Festival to get the fancy peoples out of LA to fly to.
Is it only for during the film festival?
Just during the film festival. Then there's a bunch of regional jets. And then there literally is nothing. So the international routes that we're doing and we're seeing, North Atlantic is starting to fly from London Gatwick to Vegas, which is going to be great because then the BA and Virgin are sole operators there, so the prices are going to drop like they are.
That's nice. That's great. Gatwick to Vegas.
They're going to match like there are in LA. So that's pretty interesting. Atlantic Airways, which is the carrier of the Faroe Islands, are going to fly on their A320neos, and it's a seasonal thing, a weekly flight that goes to Stewart, which is in upstate New York, or not upstate New York. Where would we say that Stewart is? It's like Westchester.
It's above New York, yeah. Up by
It's in New York, and it's like an hour from Manhattan, something like that. So that's interesting. Airbus single aisle aircraft to there. Then it's just some junk routes here, and then.
And there's that hot Winnipeg to Nashville route.
Yeah, exactly. So, and we saw some little bit. There's been a lot of chatter about this week, and Scandinavian Airlines just joined SkyTeam earlier this week. And there's been a lot of chatter about that already, and there are, SAS has been was one of the founding members of Star Alliance, and we've talked about it for months now about the integration and stuff like that. It seems to be going okay, except there's a minor, smaller things, and they are still, doing some exchange when it comes to lounges because they're SkyTeam is not really the best alliance for Earth, I would say, to have coverage in most places. Nevertheless, it is so some interesting deal. So if you're flying out of Oslo and you're on Lufthansa and you're an elite, you will have access to the SAS lounges like you used to before when they were in Star Alliance. It's a deal that they have, and also vice versa. If you're flying out of Lufthansa's areas or hubs or
even though they're not in the same alliance,
yeah, they made a lounge relationship there.
Made a deal.
Okay. So like an exchange, and also there are some reciprocal stuff with Singapore Airlines that you do some earning and burning there also. Singapore Airlines has code shares and stuff with multiple people, but when it comes to Scandi now. It's going to be an interesting thing to see. I think that there's a lot of status matching going on. Norwegian did a big thing. Norwegian is larger than SAS is domestic Norway, I think, so. Norwegian is, for those who don't know, it's a low cost carrier, but they have products and they have a status. If you fly, their top tier status is if you fly 32 flights a year or more, it doesn't matter how much the ticket costs or anything like that. It's just you get all of the ancillary things for free. First of all, you get 10% more miles when you fly, or cash points when you fly. You get to pick any seat on the plane for free. You get to do fast track. You get to do priority boarding. You get to do free carry-on, free checked bags, and all of those ancillaries they have for sale you get as a 32. And they've given that away to. So I do think that it would be interesting to see what the uptake is on that, but I think it's substantial. And also we've seen that Star Alliance is doing a match to any of these carriers that they're doing. So I thought there was a graphic I saw here.
They're doing a match with 13 other airlines.
They are, yes. So they're doing, you get, gold and silver and whatnot for Air Canada, the Lufthansa Group.
Oh, these are all the airlines?
Pardon?
These are all the airlines? Wow.
Yeah. So so these are the star carriers. So Lufthansa, Austrian, Swiss, and Brussels. They have the same loyalty program, right? Miles and More. Turkish is on the list. South African is on the list. Air India is on the list. Thai is on the list. TAP Air Portugal, Air China, United, and Air Canada. So if you were, it's obviously that it has some sort of an impact on SAS or on Star Alliance that SAS is leaving. But I think that it's Star Alliance it's more substantial, has a bigger network across the Atlantic. It has a bigger because across the Atlantic we got Air France, KLM, and Virgin Atlantic and Delta, right? To Asia, it's not that many carriers. You'll have a lot less flights going there, and you got some of the Chinese carriers, right? So, but if you have SAS status, it's a bonanza now if you wanted to match, right?
Yep.
And the last thing I have, news about the cruise, where you buy a room on a cruise ship. You own a room on a cruise ship. There is a little bit of update. Remember we talked about that a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, there are some problems.
Yeah, and there seems to be some news. Yesterday, the vessel was out to sea to do their final approval and sea trials. So it looks like it is a go.
Wow. I didn't think that was going to happen.
No, I wasn't. I was also very skeptical on that. So I follow this. So the line is called Villa V Residences. You pay from about $100,000 investment to buy your cabin, and then you pay from $4,000 or $5,000 per couple a month as a maintenance fee and it's all inclusive. You get 2 drinks for each with lunch and dinner, like alcoholic drinks for dinner and lunch per person, and then you get all meals on board and various things are included, like a normal cruise, right?
You say 4 or 5 per couple?
Yeah, something like that. I think it was not a big, for the inside cabin. It wasn't a big number. I felt like it was a little bit too cheap. And I think it was $5,000 if you were single supplement or like a single thing. So it's $5,000 per person for an inside cabin. So it's not really that much. And I feel like it's too good of a deal, to be honest with you. But it's interesting to see that now they are actually they're going ahead. So we'll have to figure it out in the next couple of weeks and see if they actually do what they said they were going to do. But
well,
if they did, then
that's a nice surprise.
Yeah, but I mean, it costs money to run a cruise ship. So if hopefully they're taking the maintenance fees are not going to go up in order for them to survive, right?
Right.
That's all I have for today.
If you are watching this after we've recorded it, let me remind you, we recorded this live on Thursday, September 5th, 2024. As far as we know, the information we gave you is correct. Again, if you're watching this 3 months later or 3 years later, consider that. Tommy, nice to see everybody aboard. Thank you. We'll see you again soon.
Ciao.